I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
My final political analysis today will be about the Black and Hispanic, predominantly male vote. I suspected, I almost want to say knew this was going to happen because of the sex war and how their respective women and women in general, but particularly the Black community, how their women have outright rejected men in preference for a relationship with the government and the government check. It is nowhere as pronounced or loud. Yeah, I'm a white guy. I'm like, I can hear it over here. Holy shit. Jesus, I feel bad for you guys. Oh. So I knew it. I'm just kind of like, no, there's no way you can have your women basically completely abandon you and go bow down at the altar of the great and almighty government check. But there's other reasons too. I would say the failure of Democrats to do jack fucking diddly squat to actually help minorities out of poverty or close any kind of income or let alone life expectancy gap. But neither here nor there. I talked to a couple people. They saw some data like, yeah, 20% Black men voted Trump, which if you don't know is huge. If you go back and look at previous elections, Republicans at best get like, high single digits, more than double. One guy said it was 25%. Well, then I'm like, all right, they might have some polling data. Here we are, the Independent. 1 in 3 people of color voted for Trump as GOP makes inroads into historic Democrat strongholds. Well, what have the Democrats ever done for you? Now, this might be biased. You say a third. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, keep in mind, Asians tend to vote Republican even more than white people do. But just to kind of corroborate this, Donald Trump picked up 1 in every 3 votes cast by people of color in the 2024 election, according to an exhibit poll published late on Tuesday. And keep in mind, Democrats are all trait-based politics. You had in that sense, a perfect candidate. You had a female, mixed race, I think a little black. Yeah, oh God, you got to have a little black in there. That's like making some kind of Italian dish without garlic. Holy shit, you got it. Oh my God, what would we do if we didn't have a little bit of black person in there? About the only thing you could say about Kamala is that she wasn't some kind of not straight gender or sexual preference, right? That was about the only, that's probably why she lost. Yeah, that's where you guys screwed up. If she was lesbian, everyone would have voted for her because that's the only thing in your minds that exists is people's traits and not who they are. Anyway, despite that, thank God. Oh, they look like me. I'm going to vote for them. It didn't happen. What do you do for me? Like you go back 2 videos back, I just ripped an asshole a new asshole. So Tim Walz is an asshole squared now. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota and was the vice presidential candidate under Kamala Harris. He's a white guy. That guy will fuck up white people along with everybody else with his policies. He's not a good person. I don't give a shit if he's like me. It looks like it has nothing to do with it. People are finally starting to wake up. Hey, do your policies help me out or do they just sound good? And so it's nice to see this break where, but they look like me, so therefore I have to vote for them. NBC News survey finding indicates that the American electorate has become less politically divided along racial or ethnic lines. Thank God. Do you make a good sandwich? I don't give a shit what the chef looks like. Does he make good food? It's good food. Do you make bad food? I don't give a fuck what you look like. What's your food like? Well, I only eat at restaurants where it's Latinxes who cook. Yeah, but the food sucks over there, man. Why do you hate Latinas or Latinxes? Oh, come on. Please close. All right. This comes despite the former president's campaign being dogged by a number of racial controversies. Trump complained that his biracial opponent, Democrat Kamala Harris, happened to turn black in late July, disparaged the but God damn. The Independent just pops up everything because it's headed up by journalism majors. So now I lost my place. Disparaged the black majority city of Detroit, and more recently, comedian Tony Hinchcliffe insulted Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage at his Madison Square Garden rally in late October. What does that have to do with either of them? So here it is. White, 41%. Harris, 58%. Oh, no, this is 24. So less white people voted Trump this time around than the last time in 2020. Interesting. Black 12%, 12%. I want to see male though. Latinos, he made huge gains in Latinos, Asians a little bit, and then other went majority Trump. I wanted to see black male votes. That's what I wanted to see. Trump, demographic breakdown. This is all race. I want to see black males. That's where men and women, about 20%, 8%. No, okay, it's not here. But in any case, wherever that data is, let me explain to you what happened and why. If any, these are, you say, oh, look, the numbers. Well, the numbers mean things. And if you wanted to care what people's incentives were behind the numbers so that they might be represented and policies enacted that would improve their lives, it's not just, oh, isn't that curious? X group of people voted X percent for candidate Y. The reason, you can listen to me now, okay? Democrats, you have a choice. You can listen to me or tell me to fuck off and accuse me of isms and is, because that's all you got. The reason black and Hispanic men, among other men, probably younger men, we'll see that data later, voted for Trump more than they have in times past is because you took away their women. The government we have replaced men with government checks. And I know this sounds soft and everything, but the number one thing in men's life is women. Their wives, at least in times past, their wives, the women they'd fall in love with and have families with, are families. That is traditionally and historically what has been the most important thing to men. And you took that away. Now, there is a different debate to have that say, no, we just gave women the choice. We have white-collar technology that allows people to do white-collar jobs now. We gave government aid to women and children and aid and support. So if they break up or there's divorce or whatever else, and you could say, no, what you got to realize is that now that women they are not financially dependent on men, which they were in times past, there's no doubt about it. Now that women are not financially dependent upon men, you're realizing how little interest women have in men. Fair point. I agree with you. I've written 2 books more or less based off of it. I'm not disagreeing with you there. That still doesn't change the fact you did take men's women away from them. And you made them quite insufferable. And the person who pointed this out more than anyone, at least initially, was Kevin Samuels. St. Kevin, rest in peace. And what he displayed on his show was applicable to all men, but he was black. A disproportionate amount of his guests were black females. And you saw it. You saw just how not only disinterested in men women were, but how much women, I hate to say it, sometimes outright hated men or were completely adversarial, dismissive, or as Coach Greg Adams likes to say, combative towards men. And St. Kevin passed away, but he showed it. And then people who, I don't want to say acolytes there, I say colleagues, because they started the same time Kevin did. I cannot emphasize enough how that legacy was continued on by Fresh and Fit. Again, 2 black men, audience was open to everybody, but disproportionately played to a minority, especially black and Latino audience. And you all say, oh, it's Jerry Springer, oh, it's red meat. Fine. They did the Lord's work exposing that shit, having those women on. You got to see how the sausage was made. Was there maybe a little bit of a selection bias based on the type of gal? Sure, fine. But you got to see it in 4K quality, undeniable. And then when everyone, Black, Hispanic, Asian or not, saw this, but especially the Black and Latino community, they're like, holy shit. The Democrats literally did take away the number one thing that mattered to us, our women and any consequential children. Yeah, I know. We're not your women to have. We've been very well made aware of that since the 1960s and 50s. Thank you very much, feminists. We're aware of that. Again, still doesn't change the fact that the number one thing that motivates a man is women. That's the number one thing men want. That's why all these shows exist. They wouldn't exist if men weren't that interested in women. And the government has taken women away from men. You absolutely have. And the men are like, fuck you. And now that a lot of guys aren't having kids, girls won't even get them to the time of day, let alone have kids. A lot of guys are saying, well, wait a minute, I don't got kids. What's this thing called money I got saving up? Wait, you want how much percent of it? Because you're going to vote. This is my money. The old classic Dave Chappelle meme. All of a sudden, I've seen it myself, whether it was through the Black Man's Got Out of Poverty or just consulting. You start to see a lot of young guys in general, but especially Black men making progress. Like, well, I'm making some money. I majored in the right thing. I didn't get no girl pregnant, and wow, I'm making $120,000 a year, and the Democrats want 50% of it. Yes, they do. What we've been saying. Although I would say the financial motivations for minority men to vote Republican in this case are secondary to the fact that you not only took men's women away, you made them insufferable. It's one thing if women want to be independent and go work and at levels on par with men, like engineers, oil rig workers, and all that. But you turn them against us, especially the feminist arm of the Democrat Party. You made men the enemy with feminism. You taught women hate. Feminism is a hate movement. It really is. I don't care if you intended it or not to be that way. At the end of the day, what it's actually functionally become, it's become a hate movement. Yeah, this is, 150 million American women. They don't all, not all of them are feminists, not all feminists. I get it. But when it comes to the end of the day, you can legally discriminate against men. And what we've seen now being exposed on the internet, yes, feminism has driven a wedge between men and women. It has weaponized women against men. And nowhere has a higher percentage of women been weaponized against their men than the Black community. And you took that away from them. And that's made some Black men and Latinos and other men wander in the desert, asking, philosophize, figure things out. Now we got the internet. We're able to compare notes, get a couple shows together, do some analysis. Oh my God, this is what's happening. We can see the zeros and the ones in the matrix. I'd love now, assuming there were good policies behind, I'd love to see all men of all races abandon the Democrat Party. I'd love to see it. And right now, the fact that so many minorities did vote Trump has the fucking Democrats scared because the Democrats are all about racism, sexism, bigotry, and otherwise traitism, not in a negative, necessarily discriminatory sense, but divide and conquer. That's all the Democrats have been doing ever since I've been an adult and voting. I don't know. And maybe minority people are getting sick and tired. Like, okay, this us versus them thing, that's fine. But the us versus them took away our women and our lives really haven't improved all that much. And, now the Democrats, or I guess the minority voters of today are not those of 30, 40 years ago. Fewer people are having kids. People are making money. They're not going into dumb degrees for dumb things as much as they used to. People are starting to wake up. And that is, the Democrats just can't say, trait you were born with? Trait people born with not yours are bad and oppressive. Vote me in. I give you free money. You life perfect then. No work for you. Several generations of that, and everyone's still living in the Section 8 housing and generation and government finance squalor. Like, hey, I'm only here on this planet once, and I'd like to have a better life than that. And not that voting Republican guarantees you that life, but realizing how the Democrats have, through policies, I would not only say oppressed you, but really they took away the number one thing. They took our women. They took our jobs. They took our women. And now you can go to Walmart and see what they turned them into. Oh, look at that big, fat, purple-haired, tatted up single mom. Oh, giggity, I wanna get with that. And then the media, these old farts, these gray-pubed assholes in the media. Why aren't men working? Why aren't men getting married? I don't know. Anderson Pooper here has the latest. Tell us, Wolf Blitzer, what do you think? I don't know. What do your gray pubes think? My gray pubes think the same thing that we've been told to say. We don't know. We need more government programs. Maybe we just shame them some more. I don't know. Have you thought about making your women hot? You think Lizzo? Not kidding. You think Lizzo didn't fucking completely demoralize black men along with the rest of us that had to look at her? Like, in war, in the foxholes or in the camps, they had pinups of, pinups like Rita Hayworth and shit back in the day. No one has a fucking pinup of Lizzo. But that's more of a general sex war, right? Right. We have to have ugly women in our video games now, right? That's a Democrat thing. That's Democrats, not fucking Republicans. All right, that's it. So I have linked below. One, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Two, I have a link to Fresh and Fit's YouTube channel. I also have a link to Myron's book, Why Women Deserve Less. Yes, it's a controversial title, but basically everything I'm talking about here, you'll see it in there with the numbers and the statistics. I edited his book and did some of the research. Let's go to the super chat, and then Cappy's going to go to the gym. Shaun of the Dead, $2. Men don't like women president equals feminism. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. I don't think men are, I think the vast majority of men, if you got a Margaret Thatcher type of gal, would be perfectly fine with it. I know the men of South Dakota are perfectly fine with Kristi Noem as our governor. There's got to be some other female governors, right, that men were okay with. Ken Rose, $5. He gives thumbs up. Thank you very much. Wisda Vision Productions. Wisda being a black guy, by the way. Because we're sick of being poor and shit. Yeah, I know. The women is certainly one thing, but the poverty's got to grind on you, right? Generation after generation. And then you keep doing the thing. Like, it's like millennials. You did exactly what your baby boomer parents told you to do, and your life is still fucked, and you're still poor, and you're still in debt. Black people been doing that for what, 4 generations since the Great Society? Don't do anything. Sit here. The Democrats will take care of it. And then they don't. And don't do anything. We'll take care of it. And then they don't. Yeah. And then after a while, there's got to be a generation guy like, I'm done with this shit, man. No way. Not that you're all going to go become card carrying Republicans, but you're like, yeah, I don't want to live in the ghetto no more. Yeah, okay, you all sit here and do crack or whatever it is you want to do and be crabs in the bucket. I'm getting the fuck out of here. John Watson, $5. It hasn't even been 24 hours yet, and black women are already stating we betrayed. Wait, the black guys? Oh, because what, 25% black dudes voted Trump? They betrayed you first. To be perfectly honest, right? I've seen, there was a picture. I found it, and I think Hugh Hefner was it, but it was black Playboy playmates from back in the 60s. And you look at them, you're like, God damn. No. Black women betray. You all sold, you sold your men in. You're all Judases. You sold your men in for 30 pieces of silver. You sold them in for a government check. That's what you did. You were given a choice. Hardworking man. Okay, we might be poor, but we'll get through it. All right. Or do I want the government to take care of it? Well, there you go. It's pretty clear which way they go. And yeah, and here you betray. You know what it's also like, John? It's like the passport bros. We're like, fuck this. I'm going overseas. And these women wouldn't date these guys anyway, but you guys dare to leave. How dare you dare to leave? Lady, you don't want me anyway. What the fuck? Again, very sympathetic to black men and their situation with dating their women. I can hear it from here. Okay. I've seen it like, I'm not going to go over this. Too loud. All right. That's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.